Been through this quite a few times before with this pair.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some great rides at the moment, and Quinton, as you say, one that he's had for quite a while, a 12-year-old now. They jumped in the 5-star Grand Prix at Vancouver at our first leg of this series, just for one fence down for a 17th place, but previously competed this horse at the World Cup shows, and they've had 4 or 5 clears already this year so far, so starting to really get some nice results this season. Hyde was 17th in the 5-star Grand Prix at Toronto last week, but had quite a lot of rides there, jumped in most of the 5-star classes there in the Grand Prix Hero Gisborne VDL. Took Quinton in some of the other 5-stars.
Just gets a little tighter in the middle of that triple combination. Little touch at the giant tiger fence. Time-wise should be handling it as well with some good rollbacks here to the Welsh Dragon at 9, just coming a little bit on the inside to the left side to get to this triple bar. The RBC fence set up. And Water Tray Oxer to follow on. Again, if they're taking those tighter inside lines, they should cope with this all right time-wise. As I say, time allowed of, 82. But going to be a second of the clears, 80.46. And clear there for Hyde Moffat. So 2 solid starts here in this Saniton sponsored $74,000 class. Long way to go yet. And taking us on to Susan Horn now. And Dominka van Lukashova for the Kingsfield Farm of Ontario. And for her, again, back onto home ground, been competing in the big classes in the last few weeks as well. And how's this pairing fared? We saw her on Curler a little bit earlier on.
Yeah, absolutely. So she's been riding a few good horses recently in our various different competitions. She had Ballintor at Toronto at the Major League Show Jumping competition there. Dominka is one that she's had since 2020. It was previously ridden by the Portuguese rider Luis Sabino Goncalves, but she won a 2-star Table A and a 2-star Grand Prix at Caledon back in July, and they've been in the top 10 5 times already this year, with around about 50% clear round rate, so getting some nice results.
And back there down onto that related 6 strides down to the Cabana Coast fence. Again, it just starts to get a little bit close to those elements of the triple combination. Still coming on the clear at the moment. Nice pick up through the RBC double. Again, it just seems to be riding very well at the moment. Fair bit of rain this morning, a little bit of turf coming up, but it's riding really well in this fabulous grass arena. Has been well maintained right the way through, and well, they're getting the very much benefit of it. 77.96, 3 out of 3. Susan Horn and Dominka van der Lukasheva will give us the 3rd clear of the lineup so far. So I won't say they're finding it easy going. They're dropping nicely into a pattern at the moment.
Yeah, a few places where they can take the inside turns, as you say, and a few places where to walk the course you might have thought there would be a few issues. I actually thought from 8 to 9 there wasn't a huge amount of space between those fences and the bank, but actually not proving a problem for anybody yet.
Some nice, neat lap rounds, and again leading to them. Time putting a little bit of pressure on those we've seen so far. Okay, Susan Horn was well inside at 77.96. The other two just on the 80 mark with time of 82 seconds. So you do need to just keep moving, and again, a keep a tight line. Callie Schott and Garant for the Southern Archers now. The 11-year-old Dutch-bred gelding by Warrant, and 5-star winners in the Grand Prix just a few weeks ago in Traverse City. So should come in here with confidence. Collins fence just going past the entrance. Again, gives you room into this related vertical to Oxer. Just starts to get the revs on. A couple of strides out. Again, a little bit on the curve. Should come up as about the 8 strides down that line. If they're just going to keep going, you could go a little bit higher if you wanted out 9, but I very much doubt it. Nice shot in. Picks up easily enough. Really bouncing ball combination so far. Looks like another one handling it well at the moment. Time-wise, they've got no trouble at all. They've kept a good pace up all the way around this course. They're going to be about 78, something like that. So yeah, 79.01. And keeping up the clears so far. So the pattern remains. Callie shot. I say not unsurprising after a good performance just a few weeks ago. Went very solidly yesterday as well. And 79.01 as their time sees them into that jump off to come a little later too. Callie Shot and Garrett. 1, 2, 3, 4 at the moment. Sean Jobin starts to get the pressure on as you come in then after a run of those that have gone clear. Foxridge Farms. Coquelicot Van Heerd to Houvelin Z for Sean for the Show Plus Northern Lights team. The Canadian squad here pretty well. +1 Ortiz. And they will go in the best position tomorrow for the team competition as well. 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Reminder of that. Individuals before that, I think around 2:30. We're going to be concentrating on the teams in the run-up. But, well, starting off in the production in terms of 3:45. Sean making sure they keep it tight. Again, lovely big grass area, very easy to drift in here. And just puts a foot on that first bar. It's a nice forward run down that line. Looking at good shot at it. Went for a little bit of cut there, just lost a little bit of height over it, and final fence stays up. So it's going to be 8:78.56. 8 for Sean Jobin and Coquelicot Van Heerd to Houvelin Z for the Foxridge Farm stables. Leaves us with some poles on the floor, unfortunately, at that point, but 4 clears to date.
Show Plus Northern Lights, as you say, going in pole position in that team competition. Sean not on the list for them this week, but he's been a fantastic rider for them so far, getting them into that 5th place in the overall season standings. He's been quite a key part of that.
But he was key yesterday in the hockey challenge in getting them into pole position, so he's done his part for the week. Tully de Jong now, and the ride of Heavenly Star for the 10-year-old Dutch bred mare by Van Gogh. For the rider, not all the teams, but a younger rider getting much more experience here with Heavenly Star. Hails from the West Coast.
Yeah, Tally's been jumping this in some really good 5-star competitions. The Grand Prix at Traverse City at the Major League Show there. Had a couple of fences down in that Grand Prix, but this is the one that she's also ridden to the Nations Cup final for young riders at Kronenberg last year. Jumped 2 5-star Grand Prix in this horse's career, 1 in Vancouver and 1 at Traverse City.
Yeah, gaining lots of experience as part of the shows here this year as part of Major League. Just a little bit unsteady in that early fence to the coins. That replica of the Athens fence from the Olympics in 2004. Tight turn back here. But again, should cope with it no trouble at all, as most of them have done so far. So just drop the 1 rail at the moment. And just picks picks up, just gets the 5 as most have done, but just gets a fraction forward to have the top rail off. Plain blue poles on what are colourful wings. Couple down so far, but again, this is going to be a good building year for her to move up from those youth classes into the senior ranks. It is going to be a couple for time as well. Total of 10, 83, 86. And we'll see her on a score of 10 for Tully de Jong and Heavenly Star, but one to keep an eye on as they can progress. And heading on to a pair that have got all the experience they need. Kristen van der Veen, ball runs Fastino de Tilly for the Ball Run Jumpers 5 LLC, based down in Florida these days, originally from Illinois. The 17-year-old that is by Berlin, this Belgian-bred horse that has probably won potentially more classes than anyone in recent times in US sporting jumping history. Now we'll see how they fare this week.
Another horse really good against the clock as well.
Yeah.
Had a few speed class wins, including one at Traverse City at the Major League Show last year. But as you say, they're so consistent. They've been in the top 10 9 times this year so far.
Again, experience there, just pops through nicely, just staying steady for this. Again, don't want to drift too far off that line. Get a nice smooth turn back. And just flattens a little there, just gives the Welsh Dragon fence a little bit of a scare. Still on the clear. Time might run a little bit close, but should be okay. Yeah, going to be just over the 80, 80.61. And not a big surprise. Kristen van der Veen produces the clear. Ball runs Fastino de Tilly, so Frosty will be back a little later on as well. So 5 clears out of our 7 gone so far of this Saniton $74,000 class this afternoon here in Ottawa. And Quentin Judge, H.H. Zorro for the Double H Farm. 9-year-old by Zorocco Blue. Zorocco Blue was a horse that was ridden by the Dutch through to Olympic level. In fact, onto Olympic medals as well. World Championships too. With Veerling. And now his next generation very much coming into the frame. Quentin with a couple of horses that are just now starting to come into the bubble of that top flight. This year a good building for year for them, 8 and 9-year-olds going through. And again, he's already made a few trips to Canada.
Yeah, he has. He did the Major League Show at Vancouver earlier this year. They were 15th in the 5-star Grand Prix there, just had the one fence down. But he jumped at Traverse City as well on the tour in August. Didn't quite have the run that they wanted there. Picked up 17 faults, so finished down in 30th place, so I'm sure he'll be keen to get some good 5-star results on the board here in Ottawa. This is a horse that Quentin's had for quite a while now, so they do know each other quite well. He's had the horse since July of last year. They've been in the top 10 twice this year so far, so you know, a little bit of a mixed bag, but certainly a good round at Vancouver, just a little bit more tricky for them at Traverse City. You know, obviously they're quite different arenas. This perhaps is a little bit more similar to Vancouver, so perhaps that might give you a bit more of an indication of how they might jump, but all depends on the day.
Absolutely, just gets unfortunately deep into that tiger fence and loses height through the triple bar. Couple down so far, I'd say. Going to be very much a development year for them, as you can see from those results, and some very good ones that come out of that as well. On the 8 at the moment. It's going to pick up a little bit for time, I think, on the way. It is going to be 82.5, which means 1 for time. Total of 9 there for Quentin Judge and H.H. Zorro Zen for the Double H Farm. 5 clears, let's remind you of those. Nicolette Hertz, Hyde Moffat, Susan Horn, Callie Schott, and Kristen van der Veen so far on this lovely grass arena here at the Wesley Clover Parks. And a lady who's made the trip across our home country here in Canada, originally from Calgary, where she's based, is Vanessa Mannix, Katinka 25. Pair that went so superbly in Thunderbird last year as well. 13-year-old biker Toki, again, gives Vanessa a lot of fun in competing at this top level. Training with Consuelo, she's been for a very long time now, going back to the days when she was competing some of the shows in Ireland too. And again, this is a lovely combination to have a run at this class. For them, where have they been up to? They actually finished well in the shows across Major League already this season, haven't they, I think?
Yeah, she was 5th in the in a 3-star Grand Prix at Vancouver quite recently. That was earlier this month. But they are nearing 60% in terms of a clear round rate for the year so far. But what I think is quite incredible is that this pair have been in the top 10 in their last 6 competitions and come into this show on a run of 8 clear rounds in a row. So they are really on form. They've been jumping fantastically well recently. So if she can jump here, clear here today, that would be a 9th in a row. A 9th on the trot, if you like. Vanessa comes here with 2 rides, one being Katinka and then a new ride for her, Carmela Z. She was telling me she's really excited about that horse as well, but this, of course, much more established and, as I say, has just been so on form recently.
Very solid so far. Just going to run a little bit close to the clock. Just get your nose over the line. 82.51. Just going to leave them with the one there for Vanessa Mannix and Katinka 25. So just puts them on the 1 time. So just out of the running. Again, if you like, you can keep up the clear round rate. They've clear over the fences, but just not quite beating the clock this time around. So keeps us at the 5 clears. Shane Sweetnam, Namaste. Again, there's been a pairing that did develop nicely. He's just back from a trip to Europe as well, a very successful one indeed. Was riding the Irish-bred James Can Cruz into 3rd in the Dublin Grand Prix as well, on that winning team for the Nations Cup there on home ground in Ireland too. And for this pairing that were in the Grand Prix in Traverse City just a few weeks ago, he's been moving between both, having been in Valkenswaard in the Netherlands, Dinard in France, back to Traverse City. And certainly keeping the air miles up. Namaste to come through the top. A 9-year-old Belgian bred by Elvis Terputz for Shane and Voquest. And again, gets a little bit more mileage into this horse this year. Shane just so good to watch. Again, they're very just land efficient, move away from the fence.
Also a relatively new partner for him though, isn't it, from June of this year. But 7 times in the top 10 already.
Yeah. No, it's a very nice looking combination. I think there's going to be a lot of this to come out and win classes into 2023. Just unfortunately gets a touch of the first part of the triple combination.
He's ridden this horse at the Traverse City leg in the 5-star winning round competition. He's had a couple of fences down in that competition.
Just going to go around for a little bit of time as well today, but again, he's going to be a little bit more on the mileage counter for this combination. Really tight, compact, lovely looking horse, Namaste, but it is going to be a total of 5 in 82.69 for Shane Sweetnam this time. Just having clipped there into the triple combination. So Sweetnam moves on. 5 clears so far. Daniel Blumen now, Ubeluk. And Daniel, again, for the over-the-top stables of New York. Daniel been in fine form in the last few weeks. Of course, he was doing big winning last week at Angelstone. He was also up into the final stages of the World Championships this year as well in Herning with Ladriano Z. And with this horse, if I remember right, last year was winning the Angelstone Grand Prix as well. So he followed that up, having won very well. I'll find my teeth in a minute. Winning very well recently.
Yeah, really good result there last year, and then he won the 5-star Grand Prix at Angelstone just last week with Gemma W. Amazing horse for him, but Ubiluk as well has been going fantastically, and the one that he rode in the Nations Cup of Vancouver in June, also rode it in the 5-star Grand Prix at Paris back in June, just had one fence down to be just outside the top 10, but he's jumped a good few double clears. 4-star Grand Prix in Wellington, double clear for a 3rd place in March. Jumped the Nations Cup there as well. So it's been a pretty impressive year for them already, just continuing on from a really successful 2021 season as well.
Just gets them to back off that first bit again. Triple bar, just gets them deep in there, gets the height in there, and the vertical on the way out. Still clean so far for Daniel Blumen and Ubiluk. Again, it's just going to get a little bit close to the time. I think he might just not be enough. It was just going to be over at 82.36. Like I said, the timing just puts a little bit of pressure on. And we'll leave him on the one time there for Daniel Blumen. He goes above Vanessa Mannix, but into 6th place for Daniel. Looks like Erin Ballard, Lanfeder and Esperanza Imports. Nanini van Dubbeldrief, the 9-year-old Belgian-bred mare by Cannon. Again, along the mare lines, was out of Rasputin, and that was by Heartbreaker. Erin Ballard also just back from those World Championships as well on the Canadian squad there. They were into the top 10 of the final stages of competition. Again, moving off nicely there. They know they've just got to not hang around this course now. Some big group of early clears coming in there.
You say about her, not wasting any time getting away from the fences, but this pair are very good on the clock. They're very good in the speed classes. They had a 5-star speed class win at Wellington in February. And she also took this horse to compete in 5-star competitions in Rome at the Piazza di Siena and at Le Ball back in May. So both of them getting the miles in competitions and travelling around the world. They're just below 50% on a clear round rate for the year so far, and just going from strength to strength again this season, as it's a ride that she's had since 2021 and one that she took over from Vilm Vermeer. But she's got quite a few really top horses at the moment. Kilana Denfer, another of her horses that's been going really well. It's a newer ride for her.
Yeah, going to take him to 8 in total, 77.50 for 8 for Erin Ballard and Nanini van Dubbeldrief for the Canadian. So scores just starting to change around a little bit now. Again, mix of those coming in. A few more of the horses getting throughout the season. Some good experience through their 8 and 9-year-old years. Again, it's just when they're touching into this top level. And flags flying. You see a little bit of breeze. Again, cloudy, but it's dried up, which is good to see. Ground's holding up well so far, and the ground team and all the team here have done a fabulous job. Absolutely in fine fettle. So as they head out, we are going to be waiting on next. We've got 5 through into round 2 so far of this Saniton $74,000 class. First time for the 5-star here in Oshawa. Karen Sparks, Mike Lawrence, all doing a great job to have brought this event here to this very historical park here. It's got a long history of equestrian sport. And now the current guidance in the recent years have now stepped up into these 5-star shows. And Vanessa Hood now. Vanessa Hood, the Take 2 LLC's Connor, the 13-year-old Westphalian by Coronado NRW. German bred right, in fact, of the breeding of 2 of Marcus Enning's horses, goes also on the mare side back to For Pleasure. And former ride of Teddy Vlock until recent times, now in the hands of Vanessa as she strengthened the string. And a very nice horse to have indeed. And Vanessa doing a top job training with Kent Farrington and really stepping back into the top flight now as she is, based down in Florida.
Relatively new ride for her, one she's had since May. As you say, previously with Teddy Vlock and also Stephen Moore of Ireland in the past as well. In May, she jumped this in the 2-star Grand Prix at Vancouver for just 1 fence down for 15th place. Then in August, she jumped in a 3-star Grand Prix as well for 20th place, but just 1 fence down and 1 for time there. As you say, training with Kent Farrington, fantastic person for her to be learning from, and she jumps alongside him on Team Lugano as well. Both of those riders on the lineup for Team Lugano this week, but Vanessa will be riding Cascal Retto there. That's, of course, the competition tomorrow.
Yeah.
Kent's also on the lineup for the team.
It looks strong. We'll see. I think this could be the week. Vanessa going nicely so far. Still on the clear at the moment. Again, just might run a little bit close on that time. In fact, she's definitely going to have time faults. Unfortunately, very nice round indeed, but just a little steady at 83.56. Puts them on the 2 time there for Vanessa Hood into 8th place with Connor. Again, as you say, pairing that haven't been together for too long. Jacqueline Steffens coming into view. And Jacqueline now with Cat Ninja for the Eye Candy Jumpers. Well-established pair, these two. And again, consistently on the Eye Candy team throughout 2021 last year, of course. And looking ahead to tomorrow, it looks like they'll be on the roster once again for the Eye Candy squad.
Yeah, she's been an absolute stalwart of the team, and as you say, she's on the list for the team for tomorrow as well, riding Freaky. That's the horse that she rode most extensively for Team Eye Candy in 2021. This, though, Cat Ninja, is another one that she rode on the teams last year, but this has been going extremely well. She won a 5-star winning round class at the Traverse City leg of the Major League Show Jumping Series this year. Also won a 5-star jump-off class at Vancouver at the Nations Cup show just the week after the Major League Show Jumping show. Then previous week, she was 6th in the 5-star winning round at Vancouver with this as well. So just, you know, success after success at the top level with this horse. Jumped a nice double clear in our opening class as well here. Going very nicely now as well. Had 5-star wins at the thermal legs of the Major League shows last year as well. But she's been such a key part of the team. I think she's been on the team every leg so far this year as well. She's well within the time.
Yeah, well within time, 77.61. And easily round there for Jacqueline Steffens and Cat Ninja. So they're ready to do battle in that next round as well. Gives us the 6 clear rounds of this Saniton $74,000 class here this afternoon. Again, looking solid. And Eye Candy, good lineup for tomorrow as well. Going to be a tough one. Cat Tyree, Newton van Kirkelhoff, 9-year-old now, won as an 8-year-old last year at Angelstone in several stages, in fact, in the opening classes there, as they were really finding their feet. Catherine Tyree, originally from Chicago, and with the Belgian-bred horse by Demont de Semi now on this gelding for her. And again, another 12 months on the clock.
Yeah, she's had this since July of last year.
Yeah.
This is one that was previously ridden by Daniel Deusser.
Yeah, came from the Steffex stables, I think, coming through there. And unfortunately, first fence, just a little bit, unfortunately. Casual start for them with drops some offence at the first.
Saying about, you know, she jumped really well in the opening classes at Angelstone last year. She actually did really well there in the opening classes this year as well. She was 5th in the 5-star winning round class at Angelstone. Just had 2 time penalties in the first round and then jumped to clear, and it was quite an interesting competition because we just had 1 clear in the first round and then we had a lot of clears in the second round, the winning round competition. It was one that was eventually won by Margie Goldstein-Engel with Jack of Hearts, but a good 5th place in that for Catherine with this horse.
Yeah, again, going to be a developing year for this combination together as they make the step up. As I say, last year it was into those 145s, up into these 150s into 2022. On the 12 at the moment. Nicely through that line. And a good finish for them. 80.52, finishing on a score of 12 for Catherine Tyree and Newton. So of those clears, 6 of them at the moment. And first appearance this week of Francois Lemontagny and Chanel de Callery, the chestnut 14-year-old by Luciano for the Canadian rider. And as I say, first appearance, fill us in, Anna.
Yeah, this horse is actually quite a long-term partner of Francois. He's had this for quite some time, since around about 2017. This year so far they've competed at Akala, at North Salem, and now come to Ottawa. This is their 3rd international show of the year, and they're about 25% clear so far this year, but as I say, not too many shows in the 2022 season yet. They had some really good results last year. They were 3rd in a 5-star Grand Prix at the Major League Show at Caledon in September last year, just under a year ago. But yeah, first appearance on the Major League season this year.
Yeah. Again, Canada having had a very good run of opportunities of shows with Spruce Meadows over the last few months as well. And of course, the shows we saw in Vancouver just struggles, unfortunately, on the way out of that triple combination. And gets a bit deeper into that giant Tiger Oxer. Looks back, it's still there. Again, always difficult when you're not seeing these big courses all the time. Francois just leans a little forward there and clips that fence on the way out.
Horse seems to be standing off a couple of these fences a little bit, doesn't he?
Just a little look there. As I say, it's not so easy when it's not week in, week out. And yeah, unfortunately, just gets height but not the distance across there at the last. Finishing on the 12, 81.85 for Francois and Chanel de Callery. Pulling that one off behind out of the triple bar double. Connor Swale, vital chance to the rock for the world number 4. And for the Irishman, with the 13-year-old for himself and Adeline Negard, France. The De La Roque suffix on all their horses, which has seen a number of them at the very top level. Of course, Michel Ecart, father rode Cannon as well, amongst other top horses. And Ito de Chateau started that one off. Then went on with Edwina Tops-Alexander, of course. Families starting to come out for the afternoon. Not quite ice cream weather, but still, well, 1 or 2 digging in regardless. Probably a few others on coffees. But pleasant enough. High 60s, touching 70. Of course, a little bit later into the day. Chance to get all the other chores of the day out of the way and come and enjoy the jumping. And of course here, if you've walked around the grounds, you see the lessons going on as well for the younger generation too. Lots going on for all ages, all talents of horse and rider here at Wesley Clover Park. It's a little more relaxed over at the bar end of things. And look across the arena just to the left of your shot, you start to see some of the floodlights there of the football grounds actually within the same park, and beyond that into the city of Ottawa. And I think Connor heading this way. Yes, there we go. You can see him in sight. There we go. Connor Swale then. Vital Chance De La Rock. Give me the rundown, because he's been having obviously a very good run this year. He's climbing up. He's world number 4 at the moment. Got to be squeezing close to 3.
Yeah, for sure. You know, as you say, number 4 now, but that fantastic run at the Dublin Horse Show that you were talking about earlier, with the second in the Grand Prix there on the Winning Nations Cup team as well. Great result as well with at the World Cup final in Leipzig, 8th with Count Me In. Count Me In is the horse that is not here this week, but he's got a couple of very good rides, Theo and now Vital Chance De La Rock as well. He was 3rd in the 5-star Grand Prix at Traverse City with this horse. That really tricky competition where he just had one down in jump off to get that 3rd place, but he's had 2 5-star wins in Kentucky in April as well. That $225,000 Kentucky Invitational and the Welcome Speed Cup as well. And this year he has been in the top 10 17 times out of 29 classes jumped, which is a 60% rate of being in the top 10.
I'm going to say it's not a bad record at all, which is why he's so high up the rankings and continuing to go up those rankings as well. Gets a little bit wider back to this Oxer. Gives himself some space there, but started off with a good pace as well. A rider who's well used to competing at the top level week in, week out now and again. You just helped by that a little bit too. Vital Chance just keeping that exuberance well handled by Connor Swale. Handling the 150 fences without too much stress, these two.
He's got shoes on this horse here today, and this is the one that he often competes without shoes, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for some studs for the grass.
Yes, a little bit of a change. I wouldn't want to try that one. There was a lot of discussion about that the other day with the Swedish horses, but there we go. 81.92 just gives a little bit of flick back. I told you we got his timing right. He goes clear, and Connor Swale, Vital Chance De La Rock, will produce the clear round for them. World number 4. A very good chance once again, so gives us what, the 7th clear of the class at this stage. Connor Swale, very good opportunity for him to start getting a little bit more Longy ranking points here this week. Highest ranked rider competing here this week, and several of those top flight with us, of course, with Kent Farrington, and another lady that's been consistently amongst the world's top group is Margie Engel and Dikas. So Royce here this week as well, just getting ready for battle, maybe into the Grand Prix. We'll see. She's got the options open to her. Gladewin's partner's 13-year-old from the line of Diorado, as we've seen many times before. Multiple wins. Grand Prix wins already this season in Traverse City as well, where she spent much of 2022 happily up there up on the Great Lakes, and we'll be heading back there in the next couple of weeks as well. Looking forward to that one for the American Gold Cup on the horizon, and that Major League Jumping show into the middle part of September. So Margie back on home ground there. Of course, originally from Miami, spends most of her time down in Florida, but her summer months up in Michigan. Dikas, super jumping combination here. Just goes through there with ease. And again, just keeps the rhythm and a rolling stride down to the giant tiger fence. Just got to balance the momentum up a bit.
She's got so many great horses at the moment, hasn't she? And Decas certainly one of them. She was 4th last week in the 5-star Grand Prix at Toronto.
Yeah, unfortunately, as the first part, I did just wonder whether that was going to get a little bit tight for these two. They usually handle most distances very well, but unfortunately it was the first part of the triple coming down. Just on the 4. Going to be easily inside the time as they've motored around. 76.79 on the 4 there for Marge Engel and Decas this time around. Where does that take them? Into 11th place at the moment. Gives Decas a little pat. There we go. Ease off the girth, relax. Natalie Dean, a Kota M for the Marigold Sport Horses of California. 9-year-old mare by Toulon, but a pretty new combination together.
Yeah, I've been together since February of this year. They had a really nice double clear for a 4th place in an under-25 Grand Prix in Wellington quite soon after they partnered up together. Natalie's had 2 double clears with this horse, and, you know, now coming to these 5-star competitions in Ottawa is just really solidifying the partnership. This one is previously ridden by Heinrich Richter of Germany, who jumped this horse in 8 rounds and only ever dropped 1 pole across all of those competitions. So the horse has absolutely got all the potential there. And as I say, 2 nice international double clears with Natalie already. Just getting used to each other now over the past few months.
Yeah, nice roll down the 6 strides there. Saw Arian Ballard and Alain Ferder just on the sideline, trained by Alain. And watching intently. All part of the same stable.
Natalie's also on the lineup for Team Logano tomorrow.
So Vanessa Hood, Kent Farrington
And
and
Natalie
Leslie.
Dean.
Again, just dropped into a nice rhythm there down that line. There we go, 8 down the final line by the looks of it, 76.88. Smile across the face, beaming at that result as well. And gives us the 8th of the clears. Natalie Dean and Kota M gives us another of those to see back for the jump off in this class this afternoon. Saniton sponsored $74,000, 158 at the moment. Natalie Dean, Connor Swale, Jacqueline Steffens, Kristen van der Veen, Callie Schott, Susan Horn, Hyde Moffat and Nicolette Hurt. Mark Kinsella now, Quality H for the Attaché Stables. And for Mark, back into action here into these Canadian shows with the 11-year-old Hanoverian by Quaid. And again, fairly new ride for them. Of course, the Taché Stables of Ben Aslan and the family there up over in Calgary.
Yeah, Ben competed this horse in the past, and it's one that Mark's been competing since June of this year, so really just sort of getting things going. He rode this at Toronto last week as well for a couple of good rounds. This horse also previously ridden by Nikolai Hein Roos of Denmark. But Mark's jumped 3 clear rounds internationally with this horse already, and as I say, just had it for a couple of months really. In July he was 8th in a 5-star jump-off class, in Calgary, just picking up 1 time fault.
Coming home on the 4 is going to be a little bit close to time as well. May just squeeze inside, yes. No. 82.04, finishing on a score of 5 there for Mark Kinsella. And Quality H. Manages to just give that blue pole a good ripple, but unfortunately it was the other that fell. Leaves him on a score of 5 overall for Mark. Still holding at the 8 clears at this point. Big weekend of competition coming up, and with a first-class lineup of riders having made their way here to Waterford for the first time. Kent Farrington making his way up on the very good Orofina. Kent, of course, in terrific form at Angelstone last week, and Hannah, alongside me, you were there. You can give us a little recap of his week there.
Yeah, he had a brilliant week there. He won so many classes, won speed classes, won the opening classes, had some 2-star wins as well. He was saying that it's a really good development year for his horses, but he still wants to win all the classes as well.
You can develop and win at the same time.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Orofina, a horse that he had there as well. The horse that is on the list for with Team Lugano is Austria 2. That, of course, super experienced horse for him as well, but Orofina has done some fantastic competitions with Kent. Had 3 5-star wins at Calgary over June and July this year, and he won the 5-star Grand Prix at Vancouver the week after the Major League show jumping show. That was at the Nations Cup show there at Thunderbird Show Park. But a pretty incredible rate of clear rounds this year, 60% so far, which is
You'll take that.
Yeah, it's got to be one of the highest rates in the whole field. You know, it's pretty exceptional.
Kent Farrington then, Orofina. Going to be a lovely pairing to watch this year and over the coming years, and strength in depth coming up for his string. As he said, it's a developing year, but it's been a good one to see horses coming through for him. Again, it's all of these top riders that have strings a long time in the planning. It's not overnight.
I think that's what's so impressive about him as well, isn't it? He's had some fantastic horses over the course of his career, but it's the longevity and the consistency over a time period.
Just sets up nicely for this triple combination. Pops through without any trouble. And you can see the 8 strides just put themselves into the corner there. Little turnaround. And then get some power back on there for the final 3 strides. Again, just keep up a good pace all the way through there, and then just land short on the triple bar. Yeah, just going to come home with the 4 faults. Nothing too much wrong with that round at all. 77.08. It is just 1 down for Kent Farrington and Orofina. Little look back here. And just playing low at that final part of the triple bar. Jordan Coyle on the horizon. Costa Diam. The land farm of New Jersey. 10-year-old Saint-Français. Accompanist Chamblon, out of a mare by Allegretto. Talked much about his wins so far in Grand Prix this season. Let's focus on Costa Diam specifically. What have been looking at the solidness of performance?
Yeah, it's one that Jordan's been riding since March of this year. This has actually been ridden by a very young rider as well, by Eden Le Prevost Bryn Le Breton, who's the young daughter of Penelope Le Prevost, who does so fantastically well in the Nations Cup and in the Young Rider Championship classes. Also previously ridden by Cecily Toft, but as I say, just with Jordan for a few months. But he's had a good few top 10 finishes, a 2nd place in a 2-star, at Vancouver at the Major League show. He was 10th in the winning round class at Traverse City. He sat it out at Toronto though. Also had an 8th in the speed class at Traverse City, both of those with this horse.
Yeah, another of those who's been back and forth to Europe over the summer months as well. Time-wise should be okay. And looking good. So there we go, 78.73. Jordan Coyle and Costa Diam continue as their developments, you say, produced in France with In Le Provost, young teenage daughter of Penelope. She's going to be one to watch out for over the coming months and years. Very small, but very effective. Super little rider. And then Jordan Coyle now ably picking up the reins and produces the next of the clears. So Jordan Coyle giving us the 9th clear round so far of this Saniton sponsor class. Paul O'Shea now, Team iCandy's Hellcat, another one that was in Dublin last week, then headed back here to this side of the Atlantic. Another one based, well, with bases down in Florida, and for Florida for most of the winter months. Hellcat, the 11-year-old, another one to have that first fence. Certainly not the first to have done that. There's Catherine Tyree a little bit earlier on that had that one as well, unfortunately.
Yeah, Paul's such a key part of Team iCandy last year. He's on the team again this week, but with Squirt Gun. So Hellcat, the choice for today. He was second in the winning round, that 5-star competition at Traverse City earlier this month with Hellcat. He's been in the top 10 9 times this year so far with this very horse.
Yeah, was just getting a little closer in the early parts and just leaves the tail on the last part of that triple. Again, only by tiny fractions. So add that to that first fence as well, on the 8 at the moment for Paul.
He helped iCandy to 2 podium finishes with this horse last year. I'm sure they'll be hoping he can do the same thing again here.
Finishes well over the last, but it is going to be a couple down, finishing on the 8 there at 83.07, so that'll mean a couple for time as well. Looked almost like they kicked back at that first fence. And unfortunately leaves them with a total of 10 for Paul O'Shea, with Hellcat this time around. Clear as there have been plenty of those, 9 at this point. Mark Blumen over the top stables at Marilyn for Team Helios tomorrow as well for the team competition. Who's alongside him?
Yeah, so alongside him on Team Helios is Sydney Shulman Desiderio and Simon McCarthy. That was the same lineup that they had at Toronto, which would be the first time that they've fielded the same 3 riders at 2 legs, because they've had their 3 wins with 3 entirely different lineups. Mark's been on the team twice, once at Traverse City and in Toronto as well, so this will be his 3rd appearance for the team this year.
Sit tight, yeah.
Tomorrow he rides Nadia van der Windheuvel.
Yeah, just lost a little bit of the balance after the Cabana Coast fence and just didn't caught up with him, I think, probably at the next one there as well. Marilyn has been ridden by Daniel Blumen a good few times as well. Of course, all in the same family.
Yeah, more of a ride for Mark since earlier this year. They were 9th in the 5-star Grand Prix last week in Toronto, just had 1 down in the first round.
Adds the triple bar to it, as have several so far. Just taking off the pace a little to keep the balance around the corner there. Just a nice loop back to the Audi vertical. And going to be 8 on the scorecard, 79.51, 8 for Mark Blumen and Marilyn this time around, but a very, very capable combination. Look forward to seeing more of them over the weekend. Good way through this class. Over 20 gone of the, I think around 30, maybe a short of that we're going to see in total here this afternoon. Juan Ortiz, Kinky Boy, Van Het, Gildenhof. Tended to be his Grand Prix ride so far for Juan Ortiz of Venezuela. Riding also on the Show Plus Northern Lights team. The 12-year-old Belgian-bred horse by Nabab de Rev gets high over the first.
I think the Show Plus Northern Lights have pretty much all of their squad here this week.
Yes. Well, it's a mainly Canadian squad. Mainly Canadian squad. Bar Juan Ortiz just catching there with the back foot.
Juan will be cheering from the sidelines as the Show Plus Northern Lights lineup this week is Taylor St-Jacques, Darren DeLynn and Sam Walker.
So it's a very Canadian lineup for the Canadian capital.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
This one is a horse that Juan's had since February of this year, but going more and more consistently, I think, with him.
Yeah, started off the season with the McLean Wart in the saddle. As you say, been developing as a combination, just seeing a little bit of the balance in the triple for the double. Triple bar into a double.
I think he was saying that this horse struggled a little bit in Toronto with the size of the arena there because it's quite a big striding horse.
Yeah. Well, going to be 12 today, but could well be one to suit this big grass arena here in the Wesley Clover Parks. Just getting used to it at the moment, but just on it's going to be a score of 12 and 81.69. So 12 for Juan Ortiz. Tanner Korotkin coming into view, another of the young riders through. Quinn 33. 12-year-old Holsteiner by Kidam the Revel. Also originally German owned and produced. Tanner again, another of those that's still just touching into the young rider ranks as well. 21 years of age.
Yeah, he jumped at the North American Youth Championships a couple of weeks ago and was incredibly unlucky there. He was leading after round 1. He was, I think, 3rd after round 2, but it just didn't go his way on the final day, so that really dropped him down the rankings. But this horse has been fantastic recently. He won the 5-star speed class at Traverse City a couple of weeks ago. And that was, in fact, his first international show with this horse. And they jumped clear 75% of the time. So might well be a new partnership, but absolutely going fantastically so far.
Just a little bit of pace coming through that triple combination. Just touches the middle part there. Just got to balance that up, and especially around the corner here. Gives him a chance here to just take a little bit of the revs off, but enough to get across that vertical. Just coming in quite a quick round. If he leaves them up, it's all good. And there we go. It is 77.97. Tanner Korotkin and Quinn 33. Keenly round there with the 12-year-old, as I say, new one for him. He's going to be a little bit longer in the arms at the end of that one. And we'll see him back for the jump off as well. So that's going to leave them with the double figures at the moment. 10 clears at this stage of the $74,000 Saniton sponsor class. Sam Walker now of Canada, Amélie van der Hoekhoven, again medalist just a few weeks ago in the Young Rider Championships at Traverse City. Bronze team medal there as well. We've already seen him winning at 5-star level. We saw those following him win in the Derby back at Spruce Meadows over in Calgary over the summer. But last year, putting a number of wins together as part of Major League 2. He's certainly already a good force for the Canadians. This year been producing a few younger horses through. Unfortunately, gives a good rub to the CP Vertical.
Yeah, Sam again had quite an unlucky time at those North American Youth Championships, and he'd really kind of targeted those with his horse Evita. Again, he was doing so extremely well in the lead up to the final of that competition. He was right up at the top of the ranks, and then unfortunately had to withdraw. But he's had this horse in the 5-star Grand Prix at Traverse City and in Toronto. He was 4th at Traverse City with this, just one down in the jump off, and then he was the fastest 4-faulter in the 5-star Grand Prix at Toronto, so that gave him eventual 8th place. Evita's the horse he's currently got on the list for the teams, but that could change by tomorrow.
On just the 4, 76.90 for Amélie van der Hoekhoven and Sam Walker for the Canadian, just dropping the 1 rail. As you say, we'll see him into the teams tomorrow. Has already been a strong contender in those. But with the Evergate ride, just going to finish in on the 4 faults there. Grant Sager now, the Grey Fox Crossings Cattuccini, based now in Aiken, originally from Texas. Grant with some newer horses this week as well into the 5-star level for the first time. And I think probably was he with you? He was with you last week as well in Angelstone, wasn't he? I think that was their first 5-star appearance.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, first 5-star appearance for this pair. So just getting used to the level really there. No particular top placings, but he was 7th in the 5-star Grand Prix with Frida, so that was one of the highlights of his week last week.
A little bit of a reminder all the way through there. Unfortunately, not enough to get the power through the last part of the triple combination.
Jumped well with this horse at Tryon as well, had an 8th place finish in a 3-star jump off class there.
Coming home on the 8 faults. 77.65, as I say, coming into some of the biggest tracks this pair have jumped so far into this year. So just 2 down for them. Here in the triple combination, you could see they needed more coming on the way out. It was already coming earlier on into that triple combination. Unfortunately, just ran out of steam in the last part. So it's going to leave them with a couple down on the 8. Nicky Galligan coming into view, the Irish rider with Unique Star. 14-year-old French-bred ride by Niagara Dell out of a Cassini mare on the Trailblazers team. Nicky's first big season on the Major League Champion, of course, into its 2nd year this year. Home base up in New York direction with the Guardian Stables with partner Page and Albert, the new dog, a new addition to the family.
Very important one.
Very important one, absolutely. But it's good to see Nicky adding a bit of firepower alongside his usual Grand Prix horse as well. Java's Miss Jordan.
Yeah, this has been going really nicely, actually. He was third in the 5-star opening welcome class at Toronto last week with this horse. And he's competed it at Traverse City and Toronto before coming here. As you say, Java's Miss Jordan, a horse that he's been jumping extremely well this year and rode that on the Trailblazers team. He sits this one out this week. He'll be cheering on Daniel Blumen, Emma Marlowe and Connor O'Regan on the team.
Just getting a costly touch in the middle part of that triple combination. Oh, and took a run at that and it didn't play off, I'm afraid.
That was pretty incredible to keep going, though.
I was going to say, did well to come out of that line on the last part cleanly. Oh, and unfortunately just loses their foot on the back there. Not a lot he could do about that one, but pace and nature catching up with each other at the same time. There we go. Going to be a bit of time to add there as well. Going to be a total of 18.87.92. Horse deservedly gets a good pack. Finishes on a solid note for Nicky Galligan and Unique Star. Not quite to be this time. Yeah, just popping that second fence all right. And here pushing on down there and unfortunately takes off early. Nicky sits to it. And they come out the other side okay. But Cindy Shulman Desiderio now, Villamora. For Mum Jill Shulman herself, 13-year-old by de Mordassave. This French-bred ride has been a prolific winner, especially in Traverse City.
Yeah, this is the horse that's won more than any other for Sydney.
Yes.
And as you say, did well at Traverse City, won a 5-star competition there back in September, but plenty of top 10s this season there as well. Also had a 5-star win with this horse at Wellington in February. It was a really good double clear. Also had a 4-star speed class win in October of last year. Sydney's again on the team for Team Helios tomorrow. It's the second time that she'll be on that team this year.
Yeah, was part of Team AIM at United last year as well. Good performer for them. Stepping in a couple of times this year for Helios. Just gets a little inverted and has that down. Coming home on the 4. And many times the winner, not quite to beat today, I'm afraid. Finishing on the 4 there at 73.95. One to watch out for as Helios try and keep up their run of, well, 3 from 3 at the moment. They've won all 3 stages of the team competitions at this point. Can they hold on to that for leg number 4? Kelly Robinson now. Blues Yadali for Kelly, the 15-year-old by Mr. Blue. For the Canadian rider. Another again with a good opportunity this week as they bring 5-star jumping here to more eastern Canada. Also, the big 5-star shows over to the west with Vancouver and with Spruce Meadows over in Calgary. Kelly and Blues Your Daddy, a well-established partnership here on Canadian soil.
She jumped this horse in the 2-star Grand Prix last week at Toronto. Just had a couple of fences down. Finished a little way down the running, but 2 down was not a bad result at all there. It was again quite a testing course. We had quite a few high faulting rounds, but prior to that this horse had had quite a break from international competition. Last seen in Canada competing in 2019 before Toronto. Back then, though, really quite established at the 2 and 3 star level. Good few top tens, 4th in a 2-star Grand Prix at Angelstone a couple of years ago.
Coming home clear at the moment for Kelly. Should be enough for time as well. Plenty of home support. 80.56 is the time. And Kelly Robinson. And Blues your daddy. The Mr. Blue side ride. Get a shot in the jump off. And could it be a big one for the Canadians here this afternoon here in Ottawa? So another clear on the board. 11 of those. And I think just the one left to come. Another of the Canadian contingents. The bell ominously tolls for the final combination now. And that's Amy Miller, Truman for the Millbrook Farm and Overlands. The Canadian also on the Eye Candy squad, and again part of the World Championship team recently for Canada to take a run here.
Yeah, comes here from those World Championships where she helped the Canadian team to 10th place. This is also the horse that Amy's listed with for Team Eye Candy tomorrow, so we'll see if that is the horse that she eventually ends up competing with. But she's jumped this horse in the Rolex Grand Prix of Rome this year as well for an 11th place, a clear and then a 12 there. Also jumped in the Nations Cup at Rome for just 1 fence down and then 1 time penalty. Also jumped this horse at the Rolex Grand Prix of Le Ball, picking up 9 in the first round. Jumped very well at Thermal at the Major League Show Jumping Show last year as well. Had a 4th and a 6th in the 5-star classes there in subsequent weeks. But certainly a horse that she would consider to be at the very top of her string, and lovely for her to have a few rides now, just kind of filling in and coming up to the level. But Truman really very established and jumping so many 5-star Grand Prix for her.
Well, it'll be the last one to go in the lineup, and it's going to be a dozen of them to come back for that jump off. Number 12 is going to be Truman and Amy Miller. Will they bring home a home win? Will it be the Maple Leaf Flying at the end of the day? We will see. Every chance. The last few will be for Canada. So we get ready to head into that jump off. Amy Miller and Truman will be going last in that lineup. So total of 12 going through. Amy Miller, Kelly Robinson, Tanika Rotkin, Jordan Coyle, Natalie Dean, Connor Swale, Jacqueline Steffens, Kristen Vanderveen, Callie Schott, Susan Horn, Hyde Moffat, and kicking things off will be Nicolette Hurt, Oak Grove's Desperado. And they're out here, relaxed, family feeling park, walk the dog, have a little bit of a play. One's relaxed, one's just wanted a bit of a cuddle. In the meantime, we are going to sit back and let the arena team work their hardest down there to set up for the jump off. We'll be back in a few moments' time here for the completion of this Saniton $74,000 class.
you to be able to watch this today?
It's very hallmark. It's very Christmas.
Like a Christmas film.
Well, looks like all set to go into the jump off of the Saniton sponsored class, and with our upcoming lineup of 12 for this jump off class over the shortened course, as you would expect, set by Guillaume Georges and his team. So where are we going? 1, 2 and 3 as was the first round. So 1, 2 and 3. So the CP fence. 2 back to the coins at 3. Then across the arena to 7B and C, 11, 12 and 13 to finish off. Nicolette Hurt going to start us off over the Ottawa fence. And this is when they start the turnaround there. Say first 3 on the track. Just put a little bit of pace on their round back to this one. But again, you just got to be careful not to get too running down to that. A few earlier on, just catching the coins fence, that replica of the Athens Olympic fence. Here's where it changes around across the centre. They come on an angle to the double. Again, gets a good move away from there. And then here, unfortunately, gets underneath the Oxa at fence 11, 12 and 13 to finish off. A little bit deeper into the Audi vertical. Finally, the last just on the 4 faults. And still, it is a pretty good round behind them. Oak Grove's Desperado, just a 9-year-old there by De Mortissimi for Nicolette Hurt. And Hannah still alongside. Hannah, that's just one of their first early outings in these 5-star classes, really, as well. So a good one for them there as well. So we will go on to Canada. And Quintin for Ariel Grange, 12-year-old gelding, Dutch bred by Caprice Bois Margot. Quintin here, though, has certainly pedigree for speed. It certainly seems plenty of big speed classes, both with Hyde and with Daniel Coyle.
Yeah, absolutely. The horse is really quite built for speed, as you say, and one that Hyde's been jumping, like we were saying earlier, extremely well. Just one down in the 5-star Grand Prix in Vancouver. This is, of course, a really good one to set them up for the 5-star Grand Prix this week, should they choose to head into that competition. Hyde was quite a prolific rider at Toronto as well. A lot of rounds jumped there in the 5 and 2-star competitions.
It's a good move away, I think, just on the 9 there, but unfortunately just leans on that first bar of the Oxa. Nicolette looked as though she took that double on a little bit more of an angle on the way through there, but of course then you're making things tougher again. Whether it's worth the risk. One from home. Going to be on the 4 faults as well for Hyde Moffat. And 42.89 sees the last fence dropping 2 to take them to a score of 8 there. So it's going to be Nicolette Hurt that stays at the top of the leaderboard for just brief moments on the 4 at 45.46. But see Hyde Moffat rounding 42.89. So sliced a good couple of seconds off the time of Nicolette Hurt. Susan Horn to come into view with Dominka van der Lukashever. And now for the Canadian, for the Kingsfield Farm of Ontario, 13-year-old by Cardento.
Be interesting to see how some of the more experienced combinations, or the ones that know each other very well, go against the newer combinations, because we have quite a few newer partnerships in this field, but this is not one of them. This is one that Susan's ridden for a good couple of years now.
Yeah, just unfortunately that CP fence coming down, just went to go on the turn and took it with them. On the 4 then for them as well, they get that inside run. I think most will do into this double, get straight at it. Good move away, again knowing that at the moment 4 faults is in the money. Long way to go yet, but cut up to the Audi Oxa, vertical rather. And there we go. Sails the last all right on the 4, 41.01. It's enough to go into the lead so far for Susan Horn and Dominika Vanilukasheve. Floats over that final fence. Plenty of air over that final Major League Oxa. One that's proved themselves well in the last few weeks too is Callie Schott and Garrett. Prime opportunity here. We've had 4, 4 and 8. Should be in the driving seat, you'd hope.
Yeah, you'd hope so. You touch on her previous result, that great double clear for the win in the 5-Star Grand Prix at Traverse City, and it was such a tough field. One of only 2 double clears in that whole Grand Prix class, so that's got to give her quite a lot of confidence coming into a competition like this. Such an athletic horse.
Going to be pretty consistently the 6th there. Looks like a good cut inside there to the Athens fence. Nice shot at it. Couple of strides off, get straight. Good move away. This is looking consistent so far. Built in such confidence throughout this year, and this should come home well. Get the last. They're in the lead. Yes, they are. Clear at 41.38. Picks up nicely. And there we go. We're all smiles once again. Callie Schott once again gets a prime shot at it and leads the way with Garant. So 41.38 head of the field. Only double clears so far from Callie. Susan Horn in 2nd. Nicolette Hurt in 3rd. Still quite a bit to go though. What's that? 4 gone of our 12. This could be a danger combination if they're on their any kind of their form shown last year. Kristen van der Veen and the rider Bull Runs Faustino de Tilly, Frosty as we know them. Bull Runs Jumpers 5s, LLCs, 17-year-old by Berlin. Now, ready and primed.
9 times in the top 10 already this year.
I think it was 21 wins last. They got up there on the 5 then.
She has a lot of these big striding horses, doesn't she?
Yeah. Get on the 8 on the curve back, and you see just edged out a little bit to the left, get back to the right. Just keeps a smoother turn. Little touch into the double. Ooh, and is scaring a few bits of timber around here. Looking good. 41.38 to beat. She's going to do that at 38.86. Just a few moments to take a deep breath at, but nothing too scary overall. And they're back in their usual position in the lead for Frosty and Kristen van der Veen. So the US rider leads the way, 38.86. Takes another slice off there. What's that about? Just over a second and a half off the leading time at this point. Callie Schott in 2nd, 41.38. Jacqueline Steffen's going to be another of those for the Canadian charge now with Cat Ninja. Strong group of those two come for Canada towards the tail end, second half This jump off is going to take a little look at the double. 14-year-old for the eye candy jumpers. Again, should be in their wheelhouse to give maybe Kristen van der Veen a bit of a shake.
Yeah, definitely give her a run for her money because, you know, they come here from that 5-star winning round win in Traverse City. Great result there. Also had that win at the Vancouver leg. Ugh.
Got high, but dropped straight onto that back bar, I'm afraid.
Certainly got the potential for the speed as well. What a shame.
Just on the 4 times, not bad at all at 41.56, but as though the time was close on Callie's shots. But the one fence down for Jacqueline Steffens this time, and Cat Ninja high but cuts down fast onto that Ottawa opening fence for them. Connor Swale, vital chance to La Rock, very good opportunity for him. Arena team working hard here, making sure everything is absolutely perfect. Hard working squad here. Putting the elbow grease in. Care and attention on this beautiful grass field. A little bit of breeze at the moment. Stayed a consistent cloudy day, but I think we're in for sunshine over the weekend. Connor Swale, vital chance to La Rock for the world number 4. That's usually in his wheelhouse. $74,000 class. Kristen van der Veen has given him a little bit to think about. Going for the wind-up. Oh, and just unfortunately, is going to have an early rail. He knows also 4 will get him in the money, so may well keep up the run here. Oh, and a second one and a third one. Not to be this afternoon for Connor Swale. You can see already sitting up in the saddle a little bit more. So go on down to the double and just doing a little bit of work to get this smoothed out for later on in the week. Going to finish on a score of 12. 44.02, 12 there for Connor Swale and vital chance de la Roque. So one of the big challenges goes into 7th place so far, 7 gone. Still with Kristen van der Veen leading. Bull runs Fastino de Tilly as it stands. Natalie Dean, Akota M. Still with Jordan Coyle, Tanner Korotkin, Kelly Robinson and Amy Miller left to take a run at this class yet. Again, this pair not jumped too many big classes together yet, but delighted with round 1. Should give them the confidence to have a run in this jump off. Oh, another one that just gets into a little bit leg tied up down that line. Any kind of uncertainty there, and down comes the CP fence. It's a little bit more of a cut in the line across the double. Time could still leave them in a good placing. Third at the moment is on the 4 faults, 41.01. Susan Horn and Dominka van der Luca-Schiever. Coming home on the 4 and could just squeak into a good third or fourth here, and going to go for the line at 40.93. So going to get herself into third for Natalie Dean of the USA and Akota M. Jordan Coyle, Costa Diam, and again, as we've seen him take away the winning spot in these classes. Again for the Alan Farm, the 10-year-old for the Irishman. Kristen van der Veen sets the pace, 38.86. Neatly down that line, lands quite short there, which is good. Nice tight line so far. All the way, saving inches. Unfortunately, just makes a move to the right, and it costs them through the double. Just loses the balance there, and unfortunately, 2 down. Solid finish, but 2 down on the way, 44.47.8 there for Jordan Coyle. And Costa Diamsa puts him into 8th place. Kristen van der Veen easily holding on at the moment. Good start from Jordan Coyle, but unfortunately didn't pay out. Tana Korotkin, Kelly Robinson and Amy Miller left to come this afternoon here in Ottawa. Tana, Quinn 33. If he's anything like his usual style, I'd expect him to go pretty hard after this. Gets away quickly there. Good smooth move. Just steadying for this first part. The vertical that can catch them needs the power across. Yes, they get it. This is looking pretty good. 38.86 to beat. Oh, went on the slice, gave it a tremble there, and it's saving inches all the time. It should be enough. 37.6. And so new leader Tana Korotkin and Quinn 33. Really efficient around the course. And good bit of ground made up in the early part of the track there. Kelly Robinson, Blues Your Daddy, the 15-year-old by Mr. Blue. Tana Korotkin has really put the pressure on there. He's taken over a second off Kristen van der Veen. 2 left to go for the home nation of Canada. Kelly Robinson and then finally Amy Miller. Kelly Robinson, big moment for her, chance to shine on home soil. Another one that just tries to cut the corner and leaves the back end on that CP fence. Get a fraction early into that turn, it'll just pull you lower. on the 4. Still playing for places. 4 is still into 4th place at the moment. Natalie Dean there on 40.93. Going to get close to that top 5. Maybe just not quite enough to make those. But 42.61 on the 4 sees her in 7th place for Kelly Robinson. And Blues Your Daddy here going for the inside turn. And just maybe a fraction early there and just not able to make the shape to get out of the jump. So Amy Miller last to go. Millbrook Farm and Overland's Truman. Amy Miller, good inside turn. They've all done so far. She comes at an acute angle. Really tight through there. Is it going to be enough? Tana Korotkin keeps the lead on 37.6. Efficient so far. She's not going to be fast enough, but still a good round overall. There we go. And so going to leave them at 41.62. On the clear for Amy Miller and Truman to go into 4th place now. And we'll leave them in that with a win for Tana Korotkin and Quinn 33. Kristen van der Veen in 2nd. And it is Callie Schott in 3rd so far with Garant. Amy Miller there going into 4th place with Truman, and 5th to Natalie Dean and Akota M. So final lineup for this 74,000 Saniton Plastic sponsor class. So thanks to them for their support here. They've been sponsors of various aspects of the show. And we'll see Tana Korotkin as the winner. Quinn 33. Kristen van der Veen held off with Bull Run's Festino de Tilly. Callie Schott in 3rd with Garant. 4th to Amy Miller and Truman. 5th to Natalie Dean and Akota Em. 6th to Susan Horn and Dominka. So good finish for Tana. And we'll catch up with him, I think, in a minute's time as well. But gets the win behind them. And a good way to complete this Friday here in Ottawa as part of a fabulous show here of Major League Show Jumping. So Tana Korotkin walks away with the win. Well done to him. The 21-year-old is dominating the rest. Presentation on its way in a minute, and I think a quick catch-up with Tana himself.
Well, Tana, congratulations. What an amazing round. Of course, the fastest in this jump off. Did you think this horse had it in him to win today?
Yeah, you know, he's an insanely quick horse, just naturally. And I knew if I just sort of let him do his thing, just let go of my hands, he's going to have a blazing time anyway. But, you know, Kristen van der Veen is always a very quick rider. But to be honest, going in, I was like, I'm not going to pay attention to what they do. I'm just going to let this horse do what it knows how to do, and happened to work out. So.
And this is one that you've been really building your partnership with over the past few months, getting some fantastic results. What have you been doing to develop this partnership?
So this is actually my 3rd week riding him, and he's an incredible horse. And we haven't done too much. We were supposed to show last week, but we didn't. And brought him out this week, fresh and ready to go. And yeah, just keep it simple. Just jump the jumps and try to go clear. So.
And are you looking forward to cheering on your teammates in the team competition tomorrow as well?
Yeah, I'm betting on them. So. You know, hopefully they get it done, but we'll see.
Well, fingers crossed. Tell us a bit about your plans for the rest of the week. Will you be in the 5-star Grand Prix?
I unfortunately won't be in the Grand Prix, but I'll do the winning round, and then I'll do the individual competition on Saturday, I believe, with my other one.
Well, fantastic. Congratulations again. Enjoy your celebrations, and we look forward to seeing you later in the week.
Thank you. Thanks.
And the lion's share of the prize money. Second place, Kristen Vanderveen. Deuxième place, le 471, Kristen Vanderveen des États-Unis with the Bull Run Jumpers 5 LLC entry. Bull Run's Faustino de Tilly. A clear round in the jump-off for them in 38.86. Un barrage sans faute en 38.86 pour Kristen et Bull Run's Faustino de Tilly. So as we step aside for the photos, the third place winner will come forward at troisième place, le 155, 155. A sweep for the American riders today. Des États-Unis, Callie Schatz and Garant, the Southern Arches LLC entry, clear in the jump-off in 41.38. Fourth place was Amy Miller with Truman. Fifth, cinquième, Natalie Dean with Akota M. Sixième place, sixth place, Susan Horn and Dominka van der Lucas Hove. Seventh place went to Jacqueline Steffens and Cat Ninja. In eighth place, RTM Kelly Robinson with Blues Your Daddy. Ninth and neuvième, Nicolette Hertz with Oak Grove's Desperado. In 10th place, DZM Hyde Moffat and Quintin. 11 was Jordan Coyle and Costa Diam. And 12, Connor Swale with Vital Chance de la Roque. And ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of the United States of America. So thank you once again to Saniton Plastic and Joël Khatib joining us in the ring for the presentation. Tanner Korotkin will lead the Galop de la Victoire, the victory tour of the arena. And thank you once again, Joël Khatib. Thank you to Saniton Plastics for their very generous sponsorship of the $74,000 Meter 50 Grand Prix, the closer for the Grand Prix Arena today. C'était la dernière classe. On a terminé ici dans la carrière Grand Prix. On recommence demain matin à 11h. Back tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Thank you, Lauren, for joining me up here in the booth. So thank you to our jury under the presidency of Kathy Harper from Quebec, joined by Malu Arambide from Mexico, foreign judge, Phil Roseau, Ellie Dennis as well on the jury, and Jerry Koo. If you're heading out, safe drive home. If you're staying with us for the party, do enjoy your evening. Back tomorrow morning at 11.